Hey guys, just at the studio finishing the finishing touches on a tune I've been working on for a while with one of my clients, Esther Kane. Really nice tune, and I wanted to kind of break down what I did with it when she brought the song in and how we kind of took it through to where it is now, or how I took it through and did various kind of changes and improvements and whatever, and just developed the song into what it is now. So it's quite a simple tune. It's kind of based around two chords. It was quite strummy, acoustic guitar and vocal when it was brought to me, and I thought, well, I quite like the idea of making it a bit edgier. Reference points for bands like Alabama Shakes and maybe Sharon Van Etten, a bit of her early stuff where it's more electric guitar, a bit more strummy, a bit less strummy and a bit more edgy. And I heard there's a riff in there on the guitar, so have a listen. I took the acoustic guitars away and asked Esther to play them on the electric guitar. So I've got my Telecaster. Just makes it sound a bit more present and I think more characterful acoustic guitar. Vocal. And I was just thinking about reverb, like a vintage kind of reverb, so like a 60s longer chamber type reverb. So I was listening to a lot of stuff from the kind of late 50s and 60s and just trying to mimic that kind of reverb. And then from that I was thinking, well, because the vocals got a rhythm to it, the guitar's got a rhythm to it, then we'll put a groove down and a bit of a bass line and a riff. So really basic riff, really basic drum groove, and it's got a tambourine and some guitar just hitting the strings like bam for an extra snare sound, like it's like there are loads of reverb, no hi-hats, just basic kick, snare, tambourine and that, and then with the bass and that riff, the guitar riff, which was again, it's all Telecaster. I played all the guitars on this, and the bass, the drums and everything. So if you listen to the riff on its own, vocal kind of sits on top of this vintage groove and it's really head nodding. It's giving a bit more of an edge to the tune. It's got a lot of soul, this tune. So the bass track was done on a really nice old Japanese vintage bass, cheap Jetson, really nice sound, very kind of off the style. And then I laid an extra, I doubled that, copied that track and put an extra on which has got a bit more bite. So you can hear that on its own, just biting there, and it's... My heart was cold, but he breathed life into me. And then really the only other element that was added I thought was a nice bit of straight piano, which is an electric piano sample based contact, which is just going just on the straight chords. Very quiet in the background, but it does its job adding a little bit more harmony in there, a bit more of an extra counter rhythm, and then it's just sort of, it's all about that groove. And yeah, you get a sense of the tune. It's going to hopefully be released at some point. We still need to add vocal harmonies, and I think Esther's going to actually get some proper drums on, some real drums, because these drums are actually in the box in Contact, and I've just manipulated them to make them sound kind of fat and old and a bit trying to approximate the sound of an old Nashville studio drum sound. Yeah, great track. There's more to it than that, but I wanted to just kind of talk through how I developed it from the start to this point, where it's very nearly finished. And on the master bus, where all the mixing is, the final kind of processing is done, I've got compression, excitement. I've got I've got a kind of Neve modeling channel strip that's adding a little bit of drive. Got some saturation. I've got a really nice EQ from Sound Toys, which is putting a little bit more saturation in there, taking off some top end. And yeah, a bit of a multi-band compression. And then my favourite compressor, which is the L-Ray compressor by Acoustica, which is developed by Greg Wells, great producer, great engineer, and it just makes things sound like a record. It's amazing. And a bit of limiting just to make it loud for when I sent it to Esther to have a listen. And yeah, luckily she loves it. So there'll be more work on this, get it finished over the line, and then hopefully out there and released. Okay, thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye.